And I love what you just said. Like, you worked on yourself to be happy, and you're happy being single. But
Yeah.
there is still a part of you that you do want a relationship.
Oh yeah, deep down, but I was
Yeah,
acting like, oh, I
yeah,
love being single. Oh,
yeah,
forget
yeah. You
man.
went you went through that phase. You went through that phase, right?
Oh my God, yes.
I don't need a man, right? I don't need a
No,
man.
I got this.
Yeah,
I
I
got a
got
job.
this.
I know my dreams.
Yeah,
I know how to raise myself. I don't need nobody else. That was
yeah,
me.
exactly. But you see that nowadays. That's what I see now with a lot of independent women nowadays.
Yeah.
That I see all these independent women that they say that I got this. I don't need a man. I'll be happy being single forever. But they don't realize like the energy they're putting out there,
Yeah.
right? Because I do
I mean,
believe.
I think like for me, I can't speak for all women, but I think like you have to get to a point where you genuinely know yourself and you know how to do things that makes you happy. But if you have been hurt in the past, whether it's with men in your family, or like say if you're divorced, or maybe you've had relationships that were maybe toxic
Mhm.
or abusive, I can see why it's easier to be independent and not have
Yeah,
someone.
yeah,
However, if an opportunity comes for you to be in a healthy relationship with someone who's respectful, that you can have a friendship, a solid friendship and respect, same beliefs, your faith, and they love you and they desire to see you win, I don't see why you would shun the opportunity. That's what
yeah,
I think.
yeah. But remember, when it comes to opportunity, you have to be looking for opportunity.
Yes, you have to open your heart
Yeah,
to
exactly.
allowing opportunities.
How can
But
you
if
have
you're
a
like, I don't need
closed-minded?
nobody,
I don't need
you're
nobody. Yeah,
yeah, then you shield. It's energy. Yeah,
yeah,
like in
yeah,
anything
yeah.
in life,
Exactly.
it flows,
It
right?
flow.
So
Yep.
like a waterfall, right? If you put boulders at the edge of a waterfall, the water's gonna have a hard time flowing down.
Mhm,
But if you move the rock, then the water flows down the waterfall in a
mhm,
beautiful way.
mhm.
And that's how it is, like with your feelings and your heart. Like if you tell yourself like, I don't need nobody, blah blah blah, then okay, you're gonna have people come into your life, but it's not gonna be people that are beneficial for you. But if you say, you know what, I desire to be in love with my best friend, I desire to be someone who's respectful, who's honest, we can have fun, we can laugh and travel the world, then you're gonna welcome that energy and you're gonna welcome those types of people.
Yeah, and that's what I believe that if people were honest, keep it honest, like most people are craving a relationship. Most are, and I believe that people who say they're independent are there's something that happened in the past. There's something happened in the past because, like I said, we're human beings. Like we are. I truly believe that we're designed to be with somebody. We're designed to be with somebody and build a family and be together. That's why I believe like we are better together than we are apart. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I know a lot of people are mad. That's why I have a very strong position on when people say independence. Nothing wrong being independent because I believe it's very counterproductive to real life. Because
Mm-hmm.
in real life, we always have to depend on somebody. We have to depend on our mom. We have to depend on our dad. When we go to work, we have to depend on our coworkers. Depend on. We have to. That's life. You're not supposed to live your whole life alone.
Right.
It's impossible. Somebody had to take care of you. Somebody had to raise you as a kid. You had to depend on
Yeah.
somebody. That's real life. But to throw this narrative that we don't need to depend on somebody else, or you can be happy being single forever. For me, I disagree with that because I believe in most people. If people are honest, we're all craving to be with somebody. But the challenge is that like you said, you have to take accountability, like what you did. You have to look within yourself and make those choices. And most people don't want to look at themselves and say that I made a bad choice or I made
Oh
some
yeah.
some things about themselves I need to work on. And they just expect Prince Charming to ride on a horse and
Yeah, or vice versa. Guys expect women to just be
yeah,
like, la la la,
yeah,
here I
yeah,
am. Your queen, your
yeah,
princess is
yeah,
here.
yeah. People want to be people want to be called queens and kings, but you're peasants. All right, we are live. We are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Kava Club Podcast, where we share healthy conversations, experiences, and apply knowledge and stories to promote happiness, love, success, to improve your quality of life. I have a special guest. You've probably seen her before on my show. You've probably seen her before.
Hello, guys, from Hawaii.
Yeah, my good friend Deslynn. You guys already know her story. If you haven't checked out her story, you don't know who she is. Please go down. Probably episode in the 30s or 40s, something like that.
It was in February, guys.
Yeah, in February. So you just gotta scroll down to my videos. You'll find her podcast, and definitely check her out. She has a very powerful story. Something so much for you guys to be inspired for. So definitely check it out. But today's podcast is gonna be a little bit different. As you guys know, I started a dating, sex, relationship podcast called the After Dark Session. So I know a lot of people have been coming for me. A lot of people have been coming for me. And but I didn't. So the reason why I brought Deslynn today, we wanted to talk about a lot of the things that people were disagreeing with. So I think it was a lot of people misconstruing and misunderstanding where I'm coming from. So I felt like it was really, really important for me to take the time to explain myself. So first, I want to start it off, explain the premise of this podcast with Deslynn, and she's our guest today. I know lately I have received a lot of backlash about my views towards dating, sex, relationships, especially from the women. Oh boy, they're coming for me. A lot of the women are coming for me. But I wanted to take the time to explain my beliefs and why I am pushing men and women to be interdependent and not be independent. You know, today in America, there's this big movement for men and women to be independent. There's this narrative that I see that you can be, a lot of people are saying that you can be happy being single, which, to clarify, I do believe in self-love and finding peace with yourself and learning to be happy with yourself in order to attract the right partner and a healthy relationship. But this is the uncomfortable truth a lot of people don't want to admit or not. I truly believe that no one really wants to be single the rest of their life and grow old and die alone. If you don't believe me, you have to go to a retirement home and go to a nursing home and spend time with old people. And they will share with you guys the pain, the hardships, and the truth. It is not a dream life that most people claim to have on social media. Now, to be fair, I do know there are people out there, some people out there that want to live their life that way. They want to be alone. And I have no issue with that. If that's what you want and that's what makes you happy. But I truly believe that is the majority of most people. That most of us, we all want love. We all want to be in a healthy relationship. That we all want to find somebody that we can love, that we can share our happiness with and grow old together. But people today don't want to admit that because they have either made bad choices with their dating life and refuse to take accountability, or they have a traumatic experience in their past that they haven't healed from, and they have convinced themselves that they don't need a man or a woman, and they want to hide under the cover of being an independent man or independent woman to hide their pain. Today, there's this big push to be independent, and that depending on someone is seen as weak. And that's how I know people are suffering from the past pain they haven't healed from, because in reality, depending on somebody is healthy, is normal. That's how healthy relationships work ever since we were children. Think about it. When we grew up as kids, we always depended on our father. We always depended on our mother to take care of us. There's no such thing as independence in relationships. There's only interdependence, that we have to depend on someone to help us. But the truth is, for most single independent men and women today, the truth is that somebody you depended on in your past hurt you and forced you to be independent. So you have this fear of getting hurt, and you have taken that fear mentality and energy into your relationships, expecting people to love you and commit to you without fully depending on them. Independent people want that guarantee, but in life, there's no guarantees. There's always a risk involved. If you live your whole life in fear, you'll never be successful in anything, especially in relationships. You have to let your guard down eventually and allow someone to love you and just trust and have faith it will work out. That is my core belief when I talk about dating, sex, relationships. I always like to stick with facts and numbers because I know life is subjective and people like to debate me on what I say. And most people will never admit they're wrong, even if I'm right. So that's why I don't state my own opinion. I like to state facts. I like to state numbers, research, empirical studies, because you can't argue facts and numbers. You know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. But I'll start with my subjective beliefs before I go into the facts. You know, first, I believe in God, and I believe God created men and women to be together. We weren't created to be independent and to be apart. We were created to be together, to build families, communities, and accomplish great things. Men and women are actually better together than we are apart. Just like the saying, behind every great man is a great woman. Behind every great woman is a great man. So in America, we are pushing against this very purpose of what God created us to be. The man has to be the man in the relationship, the protecting provider, and the woman has to be the woman to give the emotional love and support to her man. Of course, it's not always perfect, right? I understand that, but this has always worked since the beginning of time. And the problem, what I see today is with modern culture, society, and ideology, we are pushing men and women to be equal, that a woman can do a man's role and a man can do a woman's role in a relationship and go against the very natural order of how God created us to be. And you guys still expect to be attracted to each other and be in a healthy relationship that you clearly see today that's not working today. People might say I'm old fashioned, I'm too conservative. That's why I always want to stick to the facts, empirical studies and research, because I want to debunk all these ideologies that don't work and don't benefit men and women today to be in a healthy relationship. But I want to give you guys some scientific fact for all you guys out there. The facts are human beings, we are mammals, we are social creatures, we depend on each other and crave to be part of a group to survive. That's a scientific fact. So the belief that we could be independent and be happy being single the rest of our life is simply not true. At the end of the day, people who are independent and single still seek the attention, emotional, and physical affection from a relationship, even if they're not willing to be in one, because they have a limited belief or fear from a past experience. So in today's society, we're totally going against our very biological nature as men and women. People today, I feel like, are fed lies, these false beliefs and narratives that being independent and you can be single and be happy forever. For me, myself, I'm an independent man. I'm very confident in myself to say that I need a woman in my life to be happy, fulfilled. Even though I am happy, but I still have a big part of me that wants to be in a relationship with the right woman. I'm willingly, happily to give up and change many things about myself and my lifestyle to make sure she's happy. I'm willing to depend on her love and her support. And I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to make the relationship work. I want to ask for all the single, independent women out there, how many of you guys are willing to do that for a man? I know for a lot of people that started saying my comments that I'm a misogynist, I'm bashing women, right? I don't like women. I truly like women. I love women. But I mean, when people say those things and want to attack me personally, I know that's a natural response people do when they know what I'm saying is the truth and they can't debate back. So instead of challenging me on what I say and having a healthy conversation, it's easier to attack me and label me as a hater. People only want to listen what they want to hear. They want to avoid anything that might prove that they are wrong because people hate to admit they're wrong. They hate to admit that they have to take accountability for their life. I'm not afraid to admit that I'm wrong. So I'll be more than happy to admit I'm wrong so I can learn to be better. But most people in real life don't want to be better because it requires work and change. So it's easier to live with your comforting lies and telling yourself it's not your fault, it's the men's fault, or it's my fault because I'm telling you the truth. But people that know me, I love women, I respect women, I love to empower women to be the best version of themselves. But I am not afraid to tell the truth, to keep it honest, and hold both men and women accountable. And that's why a lot of women are upset at what I say, because we live in a society today of comforting lies, political correctness, and participation trophies that people no longer want to hear the truth no more, especially if it comes from a man. Because women in America today almost get zero accountability for their choices. Perfect example of what I saw in real life was, if you look at Jada, when she cheated on Will Smith, it was called a entanglement. I don't know if you guys saw that, but if you saw Will Smith, he was hurt. I saw the pain in his eyes. He was really hurt about what she did, but nobody cared about Will Smith. Nobody cared what a man has to go through, but everybody was concerned on Jada because she's a woman and supported her, even though she was the one that cheated. But I guarantee you, if Will Smith was the one that cheated, I promise you Will Smith would be torn apart, canceled, labeled as a cheater, and be labeled as toxic. So that's the society that we live in today. I believe that we are emasculating masculinity and stigmatizing femininity. I'm a healthy masculine man, but today, if you say you're masculine, you're labeled as toxic, insecure, or controlling. A feminine woman today that is happily willing to submit to her man is labeled as a slave, unambitious, and has a low sense of self-worth. So we are pushing the men to be women and we are pushing the women to be men, go against the God's purpose of how he created us, our biological nature, and we wonder why men and women today struggle to be attracted to each other and are no longer interested in seeking long-term relationships. So the problem I have is the people who are single and independent and choose to be single forever are pushing this narrative to the younger generation to follow their footsteps or encourage them to live their lifestyle without telling them the realities and hardships of living a life alone and being dependent on yourself for your whole life. We already know the realities and risks involved going into a relationship, but no one is being honest of the reality and risk of being single and being independent and choosing to live your whole life forever. and willing to die alone. Nobody's talking about that. So I don't have a problem if that's what you want and that makes you happy. But I do believe there's a majority of men and women out there who are independent, who are single, but they want to show a facade in public to make it seem like they're happy, but deep down behind closed doors, that they're miserable and they're craving a relationship, but they're afraid to admit it. And yet they are encouraging people, young people, to do that and not letting them know of the consequences of their choices to attract a partner. Because I do believe for the most of us, we all want a healthy relationship. We all want to be married one day, and we want to grow old with someone. There's nothing wrong with that. For me, I love women, I respect women, and I want women to have an equal opportunity as men. But I'll be honest, I'll always be honest, and I will always try to keep myself accountable, the men accountable, and the women accountable, and I always want to keep it real and honest. That's how I am. But I do realize today, for most men, they're afraid to tell the uncomfortable truths to women, and they're afraid to hold women accountable because that's just the society that we live in today. So, for me, I was raised by a woman. I was raised by a single grandma. She was a widow. She was tough. She held me accountable for everything. A lot of people may call her controlling, a dictator, but for me, she always gave me the uncomfortable truths, and she always held me accountable. And that's the biggest reason why I am who I am today. She didn't cuddle me. She didn't give me comforting lies. She always gave me the truth. No matter how I felt about it, she always pushed me to look at myself first, to take accountability, to change, and to work for everything I have before I blame anyone else. That's why I am who I am today. And that's why I'm happy to have you, Deslynn, on my show today. Because you have seen my After Dark podcast. I know a lot of people, especially the women who are independent and single, who claim to be happy, which I do believe you can be for the temporary phase of our life that we all have to go through, because I'm single and I'm happy. But people are honest with themselves. No one wants to be single forever and grow old and die. No matter how happy you claim to be in this moment, I'm willing to admit for myself that I'm an independent man and I'm happy today. But to be honest, it does get lonely. It does get hard sometimes for myself. So I'm not ashamed to say that I don't want to live my life being single forever. I will never encourage anyone out there to be single and independent forever. I want to encourage people to spend time alone first so you can heal and grow, work on your purpose to be the best version of yourselves. Take that time, but always strive to make great choices to find a long-term partner, because life is way easier having someone you can depend on instead of living your whole life alone and never having that rock or that partner that can help you in times of especially struggle. So I just truly believe that the truth is no one wants to admit that they made bad choices in their dating life. They take accountability for it, but they want to claim to be happy on life when in real life behind closed doors, they're struggling. And that's just my perspective on it. And that's why I have you here, Deslynn, so you can give everyone that real life perspective of what it is like to be independent, to be single. I know right now you're still trying to find a partner, but you've put a lot of work on yourself to be healthy, to love yourself first. But I just want people to hear the truth, to know what it is really like to be single. And I know you're a single mom, and the reality. And because like I said, I see this narrative right now from a lot of people that being single and forever, that's the dream. But they're not talking about the realities of the hardships of being alone by yourself and trying to do everything by yourself. So I'm just interested to hear your perspective, the realities of what you go through. And so I feel like a lot of people need to hear this. But go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Deslynn. I'm the founder and the podcaster of Healing with Aloha, and I'm based in Hawaii, on the island of Kauai. So I got married because, I was telling him earlier, like, growing up, you go through watching movies, and you watch like Disney's one of them, and just different. They always show like this fairy tale, like, oh, one day you're gonna fall in love, and then you're gonna live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And so you almost feel like one day I want someone to sweep you off your feet, right? And so you're like, I want to find my soulmate. I want to find my soulmate, right? And so I dated in high school, and then I dated in church, and my ex-husband and I, we had the same values. And then we got married when I was 27. We waited to have my son. And there are things that weren't right in the relationship, in the marriage. The foundation was no longer for God. It was other things. And we ended up getting divorced. And so I became a single parent back in 2009 with a two and a half year old. And I, in my heart, I needed to get help because there are things in the relationship that I don't wish upon anyone else, but I had to seek help. because prior to being married, I dealt with my own trauma growing up, because, you know, the person who was supposed to protect me struggle with their own challenges with addictions and just different things. And so I had a hard time trusting men.
Yeah.
And so when I got married and then there's things popping up in the marriage, I questioned the relationship, and you know, sad to say, things happen and the narrative ended up being what I had not wanted in the marriage.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but I had to take responsibility, because there's things that I could have done differently in my marriage. And so fast forward, so I've been divorced since 2009 and I've been single. I've dated people, but I realized that I kept attaching myself to men who are emotionally unavailable. Like they appear to be someone who's like caring, like all in on me, and then they weren't honest. They were saying the right things, but as the relationship progressed, which wasn't long, I realized that we weren't on the same page. And so then, you know, after different relationships, it's like I kind of lost faith and I lost heart.
Was there a point of time?
I was like, huh?
I say, we say you lost faith. So was there a point of time in your life that you felt like that all men were not faithful? There's no good men out there?
All men. I just felt that I was a magnet for emotionally unavailable men. And so I did get therapy, because I had to work on myself with what happened in my marriage. And then I was also dealing with grief, because my sister had died unexpectedly back in 2001. Then my dad died unexpectedly in 2012. And then my grandpa died. And so growing up, my number one example of what a man should be in a marriage is my grandfather. He was married for 54 years. He absolutely loved my grandmother with every breath that he took. And he taught all of us what a man was like to love a woman. And he led us, like how you put your family first. And I remember asking my grandfather, like, after my divorce, Grandpa, what does it take to have a good marriage? And he said, respect. And I truly seen him respect her and her respect him. They had their disagreements. They weren't perfect. They had 7 kids and whatnot. But so I've been single. I haven't been in a relationship, going on 6 years. And so I was kind of like, you know what? I'm a single mom. My son only has, and I do the math in my mind, like, okay, we only have this much years, then he graduates, then he's on his own and stuff. But deep down, it's like, I've worked on myself to the point where I'm genuinely happy and at peace, and I know my goals and my dreams. But then there's a part of me that I desire to find someone to be my best friend and to love, and, you know, for us to be able to, raise Kainoa.
Yeah. So I love what you just said. Like, you know, you worked on yourself to be happy, and you're happy being single, but there is still a part of you that you do want a relationship.
Oh yeah, deep down. But I was acting like, oh, I love being single. Oh,
you went through that phase. You went through that phase, right?
Oh my God, yes.
I don't need a man, right? I don't need a man.
No, I got this.
I got this.
I know my dreams. I know how to raise myself. I don't need nobody else. That was me.
Exactly. But you see that nowadays, that's what I see now with a lot of independent women nowadays. Yeah. That I see all these independent women that they say that I got this, I don't need a man. I'll be happy being single forever. But they don't realize like the energy they're putting out there. Right. Because I
think like for me, I can't speak for all women, but I think like you have to get to a point where you genuinely know yourself and you know how to do things that makes you happy. But if you have been hurt in the past, whether it's with men in your family, or like say if you're divorced, or maybe you've had relationships that were maybe toxic or abusive, I can see why it's easier to be independent and not have someone. However, if an opportunity comes for you to be in a healthy relationship with someone who's respectful, that you can have a friendship, a solid friendship and respect, same beliefs, your fate, and they love you and they desire to see you win, I don't see why you would shun the opportunity. That's what I think.
Yeah, but remember, when it comes to opportunity, you have to be looking for opportunity.
Yes, you have to open your heart.
Yeah, exactly.
To allowing opportunities.
How can you have
you're like
closed-minded? I don't need nobody. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you shield. It's energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in anything in life, it flows, right? So like a waterfall, right? If you put boulders at the edge of a waterfall, the water's gonna have a hard time flowing down. Mm-hmm. But if you move the rocks, then the water flows down the waterfall in a beautiful way. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's how it is, like with your feelings and your heart. Like if you tell yourself like, I don't need nobody, blah, 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 you know, then okay, you're going to have people come into your life, but it's not going to be people that are beneficial for you. But if you say, you know what, I desire to be in love with my best friend. I desire to be someone who's respectful, who's honest. We can have fun, we can laugh and travel the world. Then you're going to welcome that energy and you're going to welcome those types of people.
Yeah. And that's what I believe, that if people were honest, keep it honest, like most people are craving a relationship. Most are. And I believe that people who say they're independent are, there's something that happened in the past. There's something happened in the past, because like I said, we're human beings. Like I truly believe that, you know, we're designed to be with somebody. We're designed to be with somebody and build a family and be together. You know, that's why I believe like we are better together than we are apart. Mm-hmm. You know, and I know a lot of people are mad. That's why I have a very strong position on when people say independence. Nothing wrong being independent, because I believe it's very counterproductive to real life. Because in real life, we always have to depend on somebody. We have to depend on our mom. We have to depend on our dad. When we go to work, we have to depend on our coworkers. That's life. You're not supposed to live your whole life alone.
Right.
It's impossible. Somebody had to take care of you. Somebody had to raise you as a kid. You had to depend on somebody. That's real life. But to throw this narrative that you don't need to depend on somebody else, or you can be happy being single forever. For me, I disagree with that, because I believe in most people. If people are honest, we're all craving to be with somebody. But the challenge is that like you said, you have to take accountability, like what you did. You have to look within yourself and make those choices. And most people don't want to look at themselves and say that I made a bad choice, or I made some things about themselves I need to work on. And they just expect Prince Charming to ride on a horse and or
vice versa. Guys expect women to just be like, la la la, here I am. Yeah. You're queen, you're princess.
Yeah, queen. Yeah. People want to be called queens and kings, but you're peasants. You're and that's why I feel like a lot of people I was getting a lot of backlash from people. Is I was speaking the truth, and a lot of people don't want to hear it. You know, people, because when you are going through your own pains, nobody, I understand it, because when I was going through my own things in my life, I didn't want to be told I was wrong. I didn't want to be told that I messed up.
Right.
Because I was going through it. But that's the reality, that people are uncomfortable when I say things, especially when it comes to being independent, and a lot of things that I say, especially when I remember I said something that for men, that it's not attractive for us. When we see women who are very independent and they say that I don't need a man.
Well, so, okay, guys, I'm going to be honest. So when I heard the thing, I had to re-listen to it to understand, because I got a chance to get to know him. And I was like, wait, what are you saying? Because I'm independent. I don't think it's wrong for you to be able to be responsible as a woman, to pay your own bills and take care of your kids and whatnot. I think it's this wall that we can put up, like, I don't need you, I got this.
Exactly.
When deep down you desire to collaborate and to be a team, because teamwork makes the dream work. Whether I'm with a guy or my parents are helping me to take my son to school, pick him up, or whatever is going on is for sports or whatnot, there's someone on the back end, whether it's a babysitter or for me, I'm in Hawaii and my family, we're close. I don't know about you guys, if your family you have a close-knit family. But if your family doesn't live close by, you're going to rely on your friends.
Yeah.
Or you're going to rely on strangers, you know, so it's going to be like that. But I think it's nothing wrong with us being independent, but when we stereotype people, men or women, based upon the experience of bad relationship, we lose out. Yeah. That's what I learned. I lose out because I'm so fearful of getting hurt again that someone great could come into my life and I wouldn't see them.
Yeah.
And they could be right in front of me.
I know, and I do notice a lot of people are not willing to admit that they're hurt. You know, they don't want to admit that there's something is bothering them. They suppress that experience or that trauma they have, and always take the easy route, which is to blame other people. that's always the easy route. That's always the easy route, is to avoid any accountability for yourself and put the blame on other people. So that's the easy way. But the hard way, the best way, is to work on those things that you need to do. So, and that's why I was telling everybody, you know, it's for us, even for me, like I can't go, as independent as I am, I'm not going to go out there and say, I don't need a woman.
Right.
I'm not going to put that energy out there because deep down, I do want a woman. I'm not. So it's like, I feel like a lot of people are fronting, you know, like you said, like just saying, I don't need a man, but deep down you want a man.
Yeah. And I think like what because we had a discussion, like, you know, don't get us wrong. There's some people who genuinely are happy alone, and that's cool. It's the people who deep down they desire a relationship, but because they've been hurt so bad that they're afraid to open up again. Like open your heart. Yeah. But then like the sad thing is, because you've been hurt, you're trying to tell people younger than you, teenagers, and oh, you don't need nobody. You don't need nobody. But what if they desire to be with someone? Are you going to judge them for being with someone? That's when it's questionable, that it becomes wrong, because you're pushing your values on someone when it's because you're hurt. Yeah.
Well, it's not values. You're pushing your pain, your unresolved pain. You're pushing your unresolved pain to somebody else.
Yes.
Because
it feels better, guys. Like when I process my pain from before I got married and then after I got married, oh, you just feel happier. Like my heart is open. You know, I'm not against, and I've been single, like I said, almost 6 years. I haven't been in a serious relationship. So
let me ask you this question. Would you want to be single forever and die alone?
No.
Yeah. So I'm safe to say that you're willing to do whatever it takes, as long as it takes, to eventually find somebody.
Yeah. Like if an opportunity comes, of course. Like I'm getting to know someone right now, and guys, I struggle with self-sabotage. Like I just want to typical backpedal, because I fear like you give your heart, you give your time. Like what if they change their mind?
Yeah, but that's life.
Yes, is life.
Nothing is guaranteed. That's why
But a lot of it is being honest and being vulnerable. And if the person is mature and they are meant to be with you, they're going to be patient with you in the process. Like I had a friend, her best friend was in love with her, and he literally waited 7 years before they dated, and now they're married and they have 2 kids. And, you know, he said she was worth it because she got hurt and it just took her 7 years to heal, you know, but she would tell her, no, I don't like you. I don't want to be with you. But it was a front, because deep down she desired to be, but she was fearful. But it took 7 years. Like, do you really love someone? Will you be willing to wait? And every time I think of that humbles me. Like the guy genuinely loved her. He could have moved on, but he's like, no, this is who I want to be. I love her.
Let me ask you, do you know anybody in your life right now that truly wants to be single, alone, outside of mental health issues, outside of, you know, so there are some people out there that have, you know, real issues that's causing them to be single. I understand that. Yeah. Right. But I'm talking about just a healthy person, no issues, no mental health illnesses, nothing wrong with them, right? Yeah. Just average. So do you know a person that's the average person that you know in your life right now that truly wants to be single forever and wants to be happy, that you feel like that they're being upfront? Do you know anybody like that?
No, because I have friends who've been single for like 20 something years, but they wouldn't be against being with someone.
Exactly. So it's zero.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the people that I know, like they're awesome, they're incredible, but they just
So zero. Zero people in the world that's outside of any issues.
Outside of they're struggling with stuff.
Yeah, outside of some terrible like health issues and mental issues. Yeah, of course, that's different.
Or if they're elder and
But I'm just talking about like the average person. Zero people in your life right now that will want to die alone.
Yeah.
Okay, you know how many people I know like that in my life also?
How much?
Yes.
Zero.
You're older than me, so I'm sure you've met more people. You met more people in your life. You've come across more people in your life.
Guys, I'm almost 50. I'm 46. And
exactly.
I come across people who get divorced 20, 30 years later.
But
they still desire.
Exactly. That's why I truly believe that I believe that in all my heart that everybody wants a relationship, because I believe that's how God created us. It's our biological nature as mammals. We're social creatures. But people don't want to admit because they either had a bad experience or they messed up. They made some bad choices for their life, and that's why they're in the position they're in right now.
And you know what, guys, we're human and we make mistakes and we just take responsibility. Like when I was in high school, I cheated on a boyfriend, and I apologized after high school. I'm so sorry. I apologized back then, but I had to learn. Okay, moving forward, I'm not going to be that way.
Exactly. There's a lot, and there's a lot of cheaters out there. A lot of cheaters out there. But just because you keep
attracting yourself to people who cheat and lie, it doesn't mean you're not going to ever find the one. But if you have to take a few years to get counseling or, join a support group, I don't know, or, work on your emotional well-being, I got therapy, guys, for PTSD and anxiety and whatnot. It feels good when you're not stuck in your mentality of what you grew up with, or trying to live the way people who you grew up around or thinking about relationships. It feels good. It just feels good. I don't know. I just think I'm glad I had the last 5-6 years. And so my heart is open.
Let me ask you this question. And this is why I'm very big into pushing people to find a healthy relationship. So as a single mom, was it hard?
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk about that, please? Because I need people to hear this, that, if you have an opportunity to find a partner, a healthy partner, how life is easier if you have somebody that loves you and you guys can work together. There's this narrative that's pushing people to be independent. You know how hard it is to do everything on your own, to support yourself alone. And if you choose to have kids, to raise those kids alone, you know how hard that is. But people need to hear this, because I see it online. People are throwing this fantasy dream. Oh, being single is great and happy ever after. But the reality is, I'm independent and I struggle because I have to do everything on my own. But I know that's just life. That's the lifestyle I chose to do. But I would take a woman in a heartbeat.
Women, you heard that?
I said woman.
Woman, one woman.
Well, yeah. I don't. I'm a simple dude. I don't want multiple. I just want one woman that love me and what I am. And I would take that in a heartbeat. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because I know it's hard as it is right now being by myself. Mm-hmm. So that's why when everybody tells me, and when I meet young people, I'm telling, hey, work on yourself, but find a great partner, because life is hard. Life is long. You need that. You need somebody you can come home to when you go into a rough day and give you that support. It's hard being independent, and you come home and you had a rough day and you have to
come home to hug yourself.
Yeah, hug yourself. I'm not lying. It's hard, but nobody. But like I said, social media. Everybody wants to talk about the positive, but nobody wants to talk about the reality behind COVID.
Yeah. So I've been, like I said, I've been a single mom since 2009, mm-hmm. and the dad and I co-parent. But for the first 5 years, the dad lived overseas, and then more than that. So when my son was about 8, I think the dad moved back to Hawaii from living overseas. And so my son, generally sees the dad during the summer breaks or once a month. But with the pandemic, he hadn't seen the dad for almost a year. And then my ex-husband remarried and whatnot. So I don't have the luxury of him, being with the dad on the weekends or whatnot. But I do have my parents. We have to coordinate when he was younger, we had to really coordinate like who's going to pick him up, drop him off, because I work full time and whatnot. And, it's a lot of communication, but I know one of the things that I like is like, doing things just with me and my son and like my partner, like when I was married, like it's fun. Like it's fun to go and do what you want to do, because my parents are older. They're in a different stage. The things that I like to do, they don't like to do. And so it's a lot of it is just me and my son. The reason why you hardly see me post pictures of my son is because my son is shy and he's a homebody, and I rarely go out. I go out maybe once a month, that's my choice, because I just, and I think I kind of was like, I like the freedom of going and coming and going when I want. I went to Vegas 2 years in a row. I didn't have to answer to nobody. Like, I'm going to Vegas. Can I go? Because that's how I thought it was, like, but it's been interesting because, coordinating like with my parents and it's awesome. And I love them. It's different because we're at different stages in life. And so the things that my son and I enjoy doing, they don't. And so it's like, it's just me and my son. I think it would be cool to be able to have someone to go do the fun stuff, like go to the beach or go on an adventure, go on a trip and whatnot. And I just kind of got used to it, like just not having anyone for like the last 5-6 years. But I think I don't know. I don't know. I think I desire that is just finding someone who doesn't lie or cheat or who's deceitful. It takes a lot of work for me to watch red flags, because I was slow to see red flags. Like, oh, did you see it? Oh, I think I did. No, I didn't, and then I went full on and then I realized like, dang, the flags was there. But now I can see things, but I needed to work it out.
It was like, I'm interested to hear from your, what was like the hardest thing, like, for you just being single? Like, what was the hardest thing that you dealt with? That you felt like that if there was a partner, that definitely would have made things a lot easier if you had a healthy partner.
The hardest part is with your work going to work, because like sometimes, so I went through different jobs and stuff. When I was working as a cocktail server, for example, at a hotel, I didn't have set hours. And so a lot of times I was working at night. And so then, my parents had to help me like pick him up and drop him off and whatnot. And then even when I was working in the daytime at the hospital as social services, I had to be at work super early. So then they had to help me with that. Then I wanted him to be in sports. There's no way I could get home on time to take him to sports. So like I had to get them to help me. And so it's like, no matter which angle I went, I was like, man, like, thank God my family is around and they're alive. If they weren't, I would have been doing it on my own. My son probably wouldn't be in sports. You know what I mean? Because he could go to A+, he can go to not A+, but he could go to the Boys and Girls Club and stuff like that and do that kind of stuff. But outside of the Boys and Girls Club, he wouldn't have the ability to do that. And, so I'm fortunate that my parents are there. I think that's one of the things I see that my cousins that are married or they're in a relationship, that their other halves, they take turns, like, okay, can you help pick them up and whatnot? And then we can both cheer together and be at the games together. Like, it's cool. Like, I don't know. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And
it's the schedule, according to your scheduling. That's like the most crazy gnarly part.
And one thing that stood out to me was like, your parents was definitely a big help, right? But the reality is, for most people, they won't have that parent help.
They don't have that luxury.
You're gonna have to do that everything on your own. And that's why for me is like that's the reality of if you want to go that route, if you want to be alone and want to be happy, and if you choose to have kids one day and try to do everything on your own, that's tough, because I do know single parents, and they always talk about before, like, it's tough being a single parent. That's what they said.
I mean, you do it. You do it. It is what it is.
Yeah, you have to do it. Yeah, it is what it is. But if you had
I think, like, for me now that he's older, he's 14 and he's about to enter high school, I'm like, why are you shutting yourself up from the opportunity to be in love again?
Yeah.
What is it going to hurt for him to have two people involved in his life, in his, his growth? Why can't you do that? You know, and that's something I have to revisit, because I was like, I don't need nobody, you know, like, I got it. Like, that's how I've been the last 5-6 years. And now I'm like, you know what? Like, an opportunity came, and I'm giving myself a chance to open up my heart and to trust and to nurture that part of me, which I feel like I personally kind of like shut down and numbed out. Like, I don't want to feel, because I'm scared to get hurt again. But now I'm like, you know what? You take a chance. Mm-hmm. And you open up your heart, and you process, and you work through communication, and you deal with your stuff, and the person deals with stuff. And if this is the person for you, then you guys constantly communicate and process the past and mature and move forward.
Yeah. And I do want to ask you this question, and this is also one of the biggest things. That's why I disagree with the people out there that's pushing for being independent and being single forever. Because if you do it by yourself, that's a little bit different. But the thing is, when you choose to have kids, right, and having a kid, and raising them by yourself without the absence of either the mom or the dad, you know, I do believe for any healthy child that if you don't have that healthy balance of a mom and dad, the love that only a mom can give and the love that only a dad could give, there are going to be like psychological issues that you're going to have if you don't grow up in a two-parent household, right? Mm-hmm. So, and for me, that's why I'm more concerned about this narrative. You're pushing people to be single independent, because I know that if a child grows up with a single parent, there's a lot of issues that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that not only with my friends. I have a lot of friends. They always tell me, like, growing up in a household that they didn't have a mom or a dad. I'm very blessed. I grew up with two parents, and they never divorced. They're still married today, and I was able to get that balance. But but for a lot of people that I know, that they have either mommy issues and daddy issues. So and that's why I really, really believe that, you know, we have to be more accountable with our decisions early, especially when we're trying to find a partner, so that way we don't have to attract the wrong partner and deal with those consequences. Right.
And I think a lot of it has to do with like self-awareness. So, know yourself before you bring someone into it, like genuinely. Because like, I mean, you know, like for me, I'm fortunate that my ex-husband and we both got help for our personal selves, and you know, he remarried last year, and so we do co-parent. We don't talk a lot, we just, you know, text a lot more so and stuff like that, and like we talk very little. But I think we made the decision because our relationship didn't have abuse, or didn't have, like, we had our issues, but we made the decision when we separated that our son would always feel loved regardless. And so we chose not to badmouth each other, but we talked to each other. Like, trust me, he felt the brunt of my anger after the divorce. But we just made that decision that our son just needed to feel loved.
I do want to ask you, was there like a time that you saw that, you know, either your son was going through something, but you realized that that's when the dad's supposed to be there? You know, or did you ever share, like, come to you about something happened, but you felt like that was when the dad needed to be there?
So for kind of my mom, so my stepdad, my mom and I are the main ones in his life. And so he's being like, mostly my mom and I are more vocal because my stepdad tends to be more low key and stuff. But I feel like when he hit middle school, there's certain things, like I try to talk to him, you know, I'm dealing with what you call bullying and whatnot. But I really have to talk to the dad to step in and give him a different perspective, because I overall, like, I've been the dad and the mom to him for the most part, but I don't know what it is, but when the dad talks to him and the dad gives him a different perspective, like, because the dad will tell him the truth about what he was like growing up. It's cool. Like, my son receives it differently. You know what I mean? And it helps him because of course in his mind, my mom's going to always love me, and my mom's going to always, you know, when the dad is explaining it to him, and the dad's more less wordy, but the dad grew up in a very tough life growing up in California, coming out of, so when the dad talks to him, it's a different perspective, and it helps him, and I can't express it the same way as a dad, because a dad grew up not having a dad.
But that's what I'm saying, I feel like as men that we give that rock, that stability, in a relationship, that masculine energy, and then the women, you guys give that kindness, that love, that unconditional love that we all need, right? That we know there's always going to be somebody that loves me, but then we also know our Father can give us that security, stability, that know that regardless we go into the world, that everything's going to be all right. That confidence that only a man and a man can give, and also a woman can give, and that's why I have a big stance against this being single, independence forever, because you're robbing kids from, if you choose to be a single person and have kids one day, because that's your choice, then I feel like your decision is going to affect that child, because a child, I do believe, needs a healthy two parents to give them a nice, healthy upbringing.
Yeah. I mean, unless like it's a situation where they're like, widows, or like say someone passes away for health reasons or unexpectedly, it is what it is. And so we kind of carry the torch the best that we can. But I just think that we are considering unexpected deaths and whatnot, because I've had family members die from unexpected events.
Oh yeah, besides that. Yeah.
But in general, I think just keeping your heart open. Like if that's something you desire, it's okay to admit, like, yeah, I'm a single parent, or I'm single, but I'm not going to shun people who desire to love me.
Yeah.
It's just being that. I think that's kind of like what I have to learn, is like not shutting myself up from the opportunities that presents itself.
I know.
Because I was like, I don't need nobody. That's why when I talked to Will, it was kind of humbling for me, because I was like, ooh, what kind of energy do I put out? And the last 5 years, I was like, I don't need nobody. I'm gonna die sick. Like, I admit, I was like, I'm gonna die sick. I don't need nobody. But then it's like, nah, deep down I do. It's just, I was picking all these guys. I was like, hello, like, what were you thinking, guys? You're picking, and so.
No, because this is because this is what because you can say that all you want, but that the reality will set in as you get older, right? So you can be like, oh, I don't need a man, but then like 40 comes around.
For me, yeah, like
I'm just talking for anybody. You might say, if you're young right now in your 20s or 30s, to say, hey, I don't need a man, I'm good. Oh, you can say that now, but then 40 hits, then 50 hits, then 60 hits, then 70 hits, and you're old, and no one's around, right? And like I said, but everybody's so thinking of the moment, but they're not thinking of the future. But then I've seen that all these people that was once like, oh, I don't need a man, or I don't need this, but then as they get older, then their perspective starts to change. I was like, oh wow,
as you get older, your perspective does change, and then you realize like, maybe what I thought was right, or what I thought was is it,
Yeah. Yeah, and like, do you know people right now that they're like that they just think that they're I don't need a person, and I don't need a man, and I don't need a woman, like guys like that, or girls?
Not here where I live, because a lot of people here are in relationships, or I mean, there's some people who are there's a few, they're like, oh, because single guys who live with their moms. With their family, they're like, I'm good, but I'm like, yeah, but if your mom died, would you still want to be single? I don't know if maybe being mama's boy, I don't know. That's deterring them and whatnot. I lived on another Hawaiian island. It's the city like Honolulu, Oahu. I came across people who were like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm happy, but I'm like, yeah, but if somebody came across to try to, like, would you be against it? No, they would take it. It's just that they've been single for over 20 years.
Yeah, that's what I always say. All these people that say that, I don't need a man, or I'm fine being independent. If they had, if you gave them a different option and to be in a healthy relationship, they would take it immediately. So if you want to take that different option, then in reality, you're not really then deep down you don't really want to be single. It's just if something came, but the thing is that's not how life works. It's just not gonna come and hand you that healthy relationship. You have to earn it by taking responsibility for yourself.
Yeah, nothing wrong with being single. Like I've been single and whatnot. It's just for if you deep down desire it, I think
which is most people.
get unstuck and process. If there's pain, process the pain.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself for staying too long in those bad relationships, but open your heart to allowing healthy relationships in.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't have nothing against being single. You can be happy being single, but being single forever, pushing people to be single forever and never relying on
to each his own, but don't like make 20, 30-year-olds feel bad for being in a relationship. That's the thing too.
Yeah. And also, like I said, like most people, I believe that they're lying. They're not being honest. They're just saying, "Oh, I'm happy being single," but I know deep down as human beings.
If you're like, "I'm happy being single," but you sound pissed off, like to me, that's a lie.
Yeah, I truly believe there's
I'm happy. I'm single. I'm independent. Okay, but you don't look happy when you're saying it.
That's why I say that's why I'm pushing back at it, because I really believe it's a majority of people that are saying they're happy being single are lying. They're not being real. If they want, if an opportunity came to get the person that they want, the relationship they want, they would jump on it immediately. And I don't want to be single. But that's not. But the thing is, that's not life. Doesn't just come to you and give you everything you want. And there is accountability, and people, and you have to take accountability of the things you've made. And people don't want to be told that, especially from me. They don't want to hear it from me.
When you're expressing your opinions, people are not gonna agree, and that's fine. I think as you get older, and this is what I've learned, you can agree to disagree and let it go. Oh yeah, because you'll be happier that way. But when people assume the worst of you and don't give you that chance to have a healthy debate, to me, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You lose out because you're not, it's like philosophy. It's like, to be or not to be. Hey, like, why don't you just open your heart and your mind to just discussing things? You could learn something from that person and vice versa, with Will, give him the chance to understand you and vice versa, instead of just saying, you're a male chauvinistic pig. Okay, that's it. Okay, you know what I mean? But there's no openness to understand, like, did you really mean this, or what did you mean, and stuff like that. But it honestly takes respect and maturity to open your heart and your mind to understanding people's differences.
Let me ask you this question. Do you believe to attract the right healthy relationship you want for your life, do you believe that you can attract that person by remaining as you are and not putting no work to improve yourself? Do you believe in that philosophy or that perspective? Because this is what I hear from a lot of men and women, and I believe it's very toxic. They're like, accept me as I am. If you don't want me, I don't need you. Like this belief that they don't have to improve themselves to attract a better or a more healthy relationship. And I see a lot of men and women do this. They're like, accept me as this toxic mentality to say, just accept me as I am. Accept me, I don't need to change. And people hate when I say the word change. Like, change? I don't need to change for nobody. I'm happy being myself. And they feel like I'm attacking their self-confidence. Like, I'm not asking you to change who you are.
Yeah.
Right? Be yourself, but change the things that you know that are not beneficial for your life, to
your relationship.
Your relationship. And that's what I'm saying. People don't want to hear that. They think, I don't need to change. If they don't love me as I am, they don't deserve me. That is very toxic. Like, you can't want better and remain mediocre or average.
Well, I mean, anything, there needs to be personal growth. I mean,
exactly.
Even in a relationship, okay, guys, as you get older, your body's going to change, your hair's going to fall out, you're going to turn gray, you're going to have scars, you're going to have stretch marks and whatnot. You're not going to look the same as you were in your 20s. So you have to mature and grow to go deeper. People are going to get sick. People are going to die. Are you going to abandon them because they get sickly, or are you going to change and adapt to, this is where they're at, I'm going to love them through this sickness, for better, for worse? That's kind of like something, that I see. I'm sorry, I see people who, like, I have a friend, he just found out he has cancer, but his wife loves him. He's not the strong person he was a year ago or two, but she's gonna love him. And so it's unrealistic to say, love me as I am, I'm not gonna change. No, when you're in a relationship, when you are in a committed relationship, you will have to modify and change as far as adapting to each other's health, finances. Some people emotionally, mentally, it's gonna be transformed because life happens and not everybody's gonna be able to handle it. And so you just have to be willing to modify yourself if you want to continue the relationship with that person.
Yeah, and you're talking about people that are already in relationships. I'm talking about people that are not even in a relationship.
Well, yeah, you're gonna be like, this is who I am, take me as I am. Well, if you ever want to be in a relationship, you have to be willing to adapt, because we're not gonna always be healthy, physically, emotionally healthy, and neither will you. And so you're only gonna want people to love you at your best. Wouldn't you want someone to love you at your worst?
Exactly. So that's why for me, it's so toxic when somebody say to accept me as I am, when I know that version of yourself is like the worst version of yourself. Like how is it fair for somebody? You want like a great person. You want a person that has everything, but you're not willing to change to make sure that you can reciprocate what they're bringing to the table. So that's why I feel like for a lot of men and women out there, like they have this ideology to be accept me. It's like this toxic self-love mentality. People have taken like radicalized like self-love. Just take me. I love myself. That's all I need. That's all. No, that's not enough. So if you truly, this is what I believe the true definition of self-love is, like self-discipline, that you're willing to do what you need to do, the things that's painful in order for you to grow. If you truly love yourself, you're willing to do the things that may be hard, may be difficult, that you can improve, so you can improve your life, because that's just like the universe's like laws. Like nothing changes unless you change.
Yeah, we're always changing. We're always evolving.
Yeah,
you can't stay the same. Who I am today, I can't be the same way when I'm 50.
Yeah, and I see, and like I guess I see this for both men and women. I hear a lot of guys. One thing I do know from women, like they want a guy that's stable. Like financial security is important to you guys, right?
Yeah.
So I see a lot of guys who are unhealthy. Like they have no ambitions, they have no goals, they don't work, they're lazy, they're content. Yeah. So and they wonder why they can't attract a woman. I was like, no, because you're not stable. You're not financially stable. You're not working towards anything. Why would any woman be attracted to that? It has nothing to do with the women. Like, but I hear from
vice versa too. There's some women out there too.
The woman, yeah, and for the woman, I'm gonna keep it real. Some of you guys are overweight. Don't take care of your body. You know that women and men like are very attracted to a woman that's healthy, have a healthy. I'm not telling you have to be like
men and women. Yes,
both men and women.
We got to take care of our health. We don't have to be skinny.
Yeah,
but we need to take care of ourselves.
But men are more visual. To the more focused on the physical more than you guys are more focused on the physical aspect.
Right. So, we're more gracious.
Yeah, you got yeah. For you, as long as you have security, you could.
No.
No, to be honest, I'm just keeping it real. Like, let me ask you: would you prefer a guy that's overweight, gives you security, one guy that's very healthy, but has no goals and dreams, doesn't have a job? What would you prefer?
I want somebody who is healthy, because I've been with someone who wasn't healthy.
So you'd be willing to take the guy so he's physically healthy, but he has no discipline as far as finding a job, a career. You probably have to pay all the bills, and you probably have to provide stability. But he's healthy though. He's healthy.
Oh, wait! I want someone who's responsible.
Or would you take the guy that is overweight, but he has as far as career, like he works, he's responsible, and he makes sure that you will never have to worry about being financially unstable. Which guy do you take?
Okay, so wait. So I've had that guy who is not disciplined with the weight, is responsible, but not faithful. And
no, I'm not. I'm just telling this example.
That doesn't apply.
No. I'm just telling like those two guys. What would you pick?
Well, I picked both sides before.
No, you had one option. You had to pick one option.
Be honest. take the crown.
No. Yeah, what would you pick? What would you pick? Be honest. What would you pick?
What? Okay, go back again.
So one guy he's healthy, right? But he has no ambition. He has no goals. He doesn't want to work. He's lazy. You have zero financial stability, but he's healthy. But the other guy, he's overweight, but he works. He's ambitious. He's financially secure. He has a career, and he always makes sure that he takes care of you as far as financial.
But does he love me?
I'm just saying. You just the only two things you know about these two people. Everything else is those only thing you can select from. Which one do you take?
The person who is not going to stress me out. That's going to be able to be responsible.
So which one would that be?
The guy who's stable financially.
You take him, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would think a guy would choose a woman who's responsible and not unstable.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm just saying is like, that's what I always say to a lot of women. Like,
why you? Okay, let me ask that too. If flip the script, if it was a female, same. Who would you pick? The woman who cannot hold a job for nothing, but she look good on the outside.
Oh, I'll take her immediately. Yeah.
You lie.
No, I'm not. But you see, that's the difference between men and women in our love language. You value security. That's why you picked him, because you value security more than looks. For men, like I don't need security because I already provide that on my own.
Right.
So I'm looking for a woman just to be healthy and be attractive. Somebody I'll be attracted to, sexually attracted to, because I already bring the protection.
Why? What makes you think we cannot be attracted to somebody who is overweight?
Well, overweight is not. Who's more attractive? The person that's fit and healthy, or the one that's overweight? Visually, I can see that. That's pretty easy to make that decision.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying is like a lot of people don't know the love languages of men and women. Like you guys, security is important for you, and for us, it's not about. That's why I made the statement of independence.
But do you think guys lose out when they do it that way too, though? Like if they only look at someone's looks and they don't look at their character, do you think that's how come sometimes they end up with shallow people?
So what I'm saying is that's our initial attraction.
Oh, right? Okay.
So once we attract, so that's what brings us to the table. Then once we get there, then we have to build off that.
Then you gotta go, okay, is this really worth it?
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm saying is we are attracted to in different ways. So you guys, women are more attracted to men who are very secure and stable and have a career, have a purpose. They have something. They're ambitious, confident. Those are traits within men that you guys are attracted to. So the same traits that you look for in men, like confidence, purpose.
Well, because I'm looking at it like, like I don't want to be stressed out if the person can't be responsible.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, that's why I made the statement of independence, right? Independence for men. You guys see independence as something that's a trait that's attractive to you, right? So if you see a very ambitious, independent man that can hold his own, that's attractive to you guys, right? But for us as men, the traits that we look for in women are totally opposite the trait. We don't look for stability in women. We don't look for independence in women, because it's our love language is already provide and protect. That's how we're already like hardwired as masculine men. So for us, we're looking for like a woman that's caring, that's kind, that's nurturing, that just wants to give us the unconditional love, that like the same love that our mom gave us, So that's why, like I said, that's why for you guys, like the dad gives you that confidence. The dad gives you that purpose, that stability. That's why a dad and a mom is so important in a two-parent household. So for us, like I don't need to find that self-confidence and stability from my dad. I'm looking for my mom. I'm looking from that feminine energy I received from my mom. Yeah. And you guys are looking for the masculine energy we received from your dad.
Right.
So that's why when we meet independent women, there's nothing wrong being an independent woman. What the question I was answering to those ladies was, when we see independent women, it's not something that is attractive. Mm-hmm. It's like if I saw two women, one was very independent and one was very feminine. Usually most men, I don't say all men, but most men will be attracted to the one that's dependent, that's more feminine, willing to come in, and we can just become the provider for them. I
think because this is what we're talking about earlier, and I talked about it to two other guys today. It's nothing wrong with a woman being self-sufficient. Let's put the verbiage self-sufficient.
Self-reliant. Okay. Nothing wrong with
But
that.
however, if they are willing to be teamwork with a guy, that's more attractive.
But the thing is, the more self-sufficient you are as a woman, then you start to inherit, because in order to be self-sufficient and in order to make more money, to be more successful, you have to have like masculine traits, right?
Well, because there's a thing called glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Where the women don't get the same pay as their counterparts in the business sense. Yeah.
I understand it. But that's what I'm saying is the more self-sufficient a woman is, she's unintentionally, if whether she's aware of it or not, she unintentionally starts to be like a man.
By default, yes, we have to be.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, exactly.
Because if I'm always breaking down, Kano can't have me. Like, being able to provide. Yeah.
Because you have to compete with other men in the industries, right? So you have to be like them to compete with them. Right.
But being in a relationship, I have to tap into my feminine side.
Exactly. So that's what a lot of independent women don't understand. That when you leave the job, you have to come back home and turn that feminine woman back on.
Yes.
Right. And because, like I said, for men, when we see that those very independent women, because they tend to have very masculine traits. So of course, like you said, like we're very masculine already. So by our biological nature is not attracted to a person that's more masculine. We were always going to be attracted to the opposite, which is the feminine. The same way.
I got a question since all the women have their own thing with you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think when you're in a relationship or when you're married, do you think a man and a woman should be a team as far as caretaking and cleaning?
Of course.
And cooking.
Caretaking, cooking as a team?
Yeah, like take turns.
If it, like the one thing, this is what I would say. It depends on the person. So for me, I wouldn't mind cooking and cleaning because that's how my grandma raised me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I would if I had to choose a woman, I want her to cook and clean. If she asked me to clean, yes. But the thing is, like, I'm gonna go out in the world and try to build my empire.
Right.
So for me, it's gonna work out better for me that I don't want to go work and come home and I have to fulfill her responsibility. Like she should already understand her. Like I feel like every team, you talk about teamwork, right? There's always a role everybody has to play.
Yeah.
So I don't mind fulfilling. Sometimes as team, I played football, so sometimes I have to fulfill the role of somebody else. I don't mind it, but if I have to keep doing my role and your role, then there's always going to be an issue. So if I have to go to work and I have to come home and clean, which I don't mind doing, but you're not fulfilling your role, then there's going to be. I will see that as a conflict. So I would want to be with someone.
It's a preference thing because my grandfather,
mm-hmm.
they had 7 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So the day my grandma died, she didn't know how to cook.
Yeah.
So my papa would cook before he would go to work.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but it was a decision. It was something that they had agreed upon. She would clean. She would take care of the kids.
Yeah.
But he would do the cooking.
But I'm saying I don't mind to cook either. But I'm just saying is like everybody in a healthy relationship, both
communicate what you guys are gonna.
Yeah. So like, if my woman can't cook, then I know how to cook already. So I'll cook, and I'll teach her how to cook. I'll teach her how to cook. I'll teach her how to cook. Okay, this is something
which you can always order out.
Yeah. Oh, I don't hear. If I'm use my card. But whatever works. Whatever works. I know, but I do believe that there has to be a healthy balance. Like you can't expect.
You just gotta agree.
Yeah. So like if your man is working, then you should take care. It should be natural for you to take care of business at home. Your man wouldn't ask you to go work for him in his job. That's his responsibility.
Right. But some guys don't want that responsibility. And, what does a woman do if the guy doesn't want to?
So, but I also believe if the woman is working and the majority of she is providing, paying most of the bills, I do believe that she doesn't have to come home and clean. If the guy is at home or he doesn't have a job.
Like he's willing to be Mr. Dad.
Mr. Dad, yeah, then you have to clean. You shouldn't expect her. It's unfair. It's unfair.
You find, yeah.
Yeah, so I do believe. So yeah, I don't expect the woman to clean. Like, I believe that whoever has a role, then you should play that
Yeah.
role. It should be
Yes.
like like we're all putting something into the table to make it work.
Exactly.
And you should be with somebody that understands that.
Yeah.
That I don't have to
and
say
if that basic foundation isn't there,
yeah,
then you ask yourself, like, is this the person for you?
Yeah, like I wouldn't have to tell her what to do. She wouldn't have to tell me to get up early in the morning, go work. It's already understood.
Yeah.
And we just and things just work out that way.
Yeah.
But I feel like today the problem is we're trying to switch roles, and I feel like that's the problem because I feel like that society today are pushing men to be women and like to be more feminine, and then the women to be more masculine, and they wonder why we're not attracted to each other.
Right. Like, I think we just gotta be true to who we are.
We should just let men
be flexible.
Yeah, let men to be the men, and let women and you see it all the time. Like if they're encouraging women to be ambitious, have career goals, and they're like dehumanizing the women that choose to be housewives. There's nothing wrong with being a housewife. There's nothing wrong with being a mom. You know how hard it is being a mom. Right. So, but I see that a lot. A lot of women will talk negative things about the women that choose to submit to their husband or choose to be a housewife, because in today's society, like every woman should have a career and have a business. But
people put so much pressure on themselves. Like some people look down on people who are stay-at-home moms, and some people look down on those who go to work. Hey, not everybody like if you're a single parent, not everybody has the luxury to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that I don't want to be. It's just and so that's why I'm slowly transitioning myself, working part-time and then building my business. But it takes time.
Let me ask you, if you met the right guy, like has everything you want, all right, and would you be okay being the stay-at-home mom? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, but right now I have my podcast.
No. I'm just saying, like, if that opportunity came and you met a guy that's financially stable, he has more than enough means to take care of you, take care of your son, and he's just like, you know what, I'm a man.
You don't have to worry about working anymore.
I'm a guy. This is how I was raised by my dad. My dad was the provider.
Yeah.
And I want to be the provider for you. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. You know how many women will say no to that?
If the right guy came along, I have a podcast, guys. I'm working on mentorship, but if I could just focus on my podcast and inspiring women and empowering women and be able to focus on my son, I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now I'm a single mom, so I work
exactly
multiple jobs.
I asked my last one, the first one thing, I believe. I asked three of them. I was like, look, if you met the right guy, he had everything you have, right? And it
was a healthy relationship.
And he's a man. Like, he's a man. That's what men do. So, and he asked you, hey, I just want you to stay at home, take care of the kids, be a great wife.
Yeah, and focus on what makes you happy.
Yeah. And they all of them said no. This is the modern woman today. All of them will say no. All of them said no. They said no. I have to be I need my independence. I need my space. So I'm just thinking in my mind, like, this is and it's funny because I see this a lot now. The girls you meet, I run into and have friends with, like, they're just unwilling to accept the fact that it's so terrible. If a man chooses to provide for a woman now in society, it's called controlling. It's toxic.
Right.
If a man chooses
my papa and my grandma were married for 54 years, and my grandma was a stay-at-home mom. And then after her kids got older, she babysat us grandkids, right? My papa was never controlling, and he was never lording over her. He respected her, loved her, and my grandma was treated like a queen. So I don't believe that it's gonna be like that.
But that's the narrative I hear from a lot of these independent women, that if a guy comes along and chooses to take care of you, oh my God, he's stripping away my independence. That's control. That's
no, my grandpa wasn't like that for 4 years.
That's insecurity. That's one thing I hear. Oh my God, he's so insecure that he doesn't want me to be independent. I was like,
it's all perspective, like if you're.
But that comes from pain. That comes from pain.
Yeah, you gotta be unstuck and deal with the past. If it's crazy, like growing up or with your relationship, your divorce, whatever, get unstuck. There's genuine men out there who are healthy, who will love you and empower you to be the best person you can be as a mom and pursue your other career choices and passions.
And you said something very important when you said that when you were going through your phase of healing, that you kept self-sabotaging yourself. So when the good thing came, so all these ladies, I'll ask them a question. If a guy finally, you met the right guy, he has everything you want, he's healthy, he's attractive, he loves you, he has a career.
He's attractive.
Right?
Yeah.
But they always found the reason to self-sabotage it, right? Oh my, he's insecure. Oh my God, he's not willing, he's trying to take away my independence. And that's just what I see is just this they have this, their frame of mind is always acting with fear. So there's just, and because you have a fear mindset or scarcity mindset, you don't believe good things are supposed to happen to you.
Right. Yeah.
So when a good thing comes along, you can't believe it. Oh my God, this is not happening.
Too good to be true.
This is too good. It's too good. Why me? Why?
Like, are you legit?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you legit?
No, this is a scam.
So we start throwing all these we're trying to like throw all these, what do you call that? Like we're trying to like check them, make sure they're legit. Yeah. Genuinely this.
Like you're trying to vet them out, right? Like a.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like I'm not perfect. Like I'm like that, like, are you like legit? Like I'll say random things just to check, like, cause I'm from Hawaii and, I use Pidgin English, which is like Ebonics or like Spanglish, whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But but I think I'm learning that my own insecurity holds me back from allowing someone to love me. And so there's real people out there, guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Who love you, all of you.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a continuous growth. I'm growing and admitting that it's okay for me to love again. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, I feel like so many people today.
I'm not in a relationship yet, guys, but I'm willing to do the work. It's hard work.
Yeah.
Trusting is hard.
I believe that so many people today, it's just there's especially men and women who are independent. There's something that they haven't moved on from, and they're hurt, and they're afraid to admit it. So it keeps you stagnant because when you're hurt and you live out of fear, you're afraid to do new things, to try new things, you're afraid to better yourself, so you remain the same. And they don't understand that you cannot remain the same if you want something better.
Yeah. I mean, like you said earlier, like to each his own. Like if that's something you desire, great. But if there's unresolved stuff that you have to process it and keep your heart open. Why not?
Exactly.
Why not allow opportunity? Why not open your heart to what could become, Like, yeah, you can do it all alone. And I've been doing it. I've been single since 2009. Been in not the greatest relationship since 2009, off and on. But like, why not? That's what I tell myself. Why not?
I do want to ask you, is it harder? Because I know you said you're 46 now, right?
Yes, I'm 46, guys.
Right. Nice. So is it harder now to date at 46? I want to ask you that question. Is it harder than compared to when you were 30s?
As you get older, it's harder because people, when you get older and say like if you're divorced, right? Sometimes you can get jaded. Like you just lose hope. Like, there's nobody out there already. You know what I mean? And then you can feel like maybe they'll choose someone younger than you that looks better than you or whatever's. Or like, they're not gonna want to date because I'm a single parent.
Yeah.
And so it's constantly like it's harder to find someone who's willing to like be with you and risk maybe baby daddy issues or like like drama. They fear maybe there's drama that they're gonna have to deal with. People tend to be, as you get older, guys, people tend to be a little bit more guarded because they don't want to get hurt. And so everybody's like, I'm happy, but deep down they desire to be loved.
let me ask you because no good. That's why I'm trying to push for people to start working on themselves earlier and tracking a relationship earlier, especially for women, because it's
Yeah.
harder as you get older.
Yeah.
I think it's opposite for men because I noticed that women always prefer to date older guys anyway. That's just how women are.
Well, so my ex-husband was 3 years younger.
Three.
But most of my friends did date older.
Yeah. It was like guys are in the like a guy can be 40 and still date a girl that's 20, and that's
right.
I see it so many times. I've seen it all the time. So, and I know a lot of women complain about that. That's messed up, but that's just life. That's just how it's double standards. It's
I mean, that's them.
Yeah. So like, but we know women are always willing to date. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, women are willing to date older, and then most guys would be willing to date somebody that's younger. I'm not saying all, but most. So for women, it's as you get older, and if you're not working on yourself to attract a partner as soon as you can, then it's going to be a struggle. And I don't want women to go to that struggle. I don't want them. I want you guys to find love as early as you can. If you can, if it doesn't work out, then like you still have time. It's still possible, but it's going to be a little bit harder, but it's still possible.
I just think that it's important for us to heal.
Yes.
Early on in life. Not necessarily about a relationship. I just think if you can just heal from your childhood trauma early on in your 20s, you'll just have more healthy relationships. Even as a parent, you'll have a healthier relationship raising your child if you're unstuck from the trauma that you went through with your parents. You're not going to parent your child with fear. You're going to parent them with love, with confidence that, you know what, I'm going to give you wings to fly. Not, no, I don't want you to date when you're young because you're going to get hurt, and so that's why for me, I have to work through my past trauma so I can open my heart to allowing my son to date. Because I was like, guy, you can't date when he was in preschool, you can't date till you're 23. And then we negotiate, you can date when you're 18, and then I have to have a conversation with a friend. It's like, you know what, you got to let him be a teen. It's like, okay, you can date when you're in 9th grade, and then, okay, you can date now when you're 8th grade. But it's like, it's part of life. You're going to make good decisions. You're going to make bad decisions. But if you don't try, you'll never know.
Yeah.
If you guys can heal from trauma early on in 20s, and then if you get married early and it didn't work out, like if you can heal and get therapy or get any kind of support to heal, you live a better life when you're healed and happy than if you're bitter, angry, and hurt and fearful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any questions you may have about men or about anything come running through your mind?
I want to know, what is men's deepest? Well, okay, for you, because everybody's different, right? Do you ever feel fearful of being alone?
Yeah. I don't want to be alone.
You don't want to be alone?
Yeah, I don't want to die alone.
Yeah,
that's why I work on myself. I put a lot of work on myself so I can. Yeah,
what is 2 things you feel like you can work on in your character to better yourself, to be prepared to be in a relationship again?
My character. Let me see. I'm trying to think. What is something that maybe be I'm trying to think because I'm very open right now. I'm like, if I meet the right woman, it's on.
Improvement from February.
It is on. Like it's rare.
He was like, this is him. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm happy being single. I don't want to be in a relationship. Like, really? Okay.
And I said I wasn't. I didn't want to be in a relationship as of now. But I didn't,
Yeah, because he was working on his career.
Yeah. Like
I'll work on your career and still be happy in a relationship.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's possible. That is possible. But I don't want to be single forever. I don't want to be single forever. But I guess I'm trying to think of because I'm I'm very.
Well, we always got something to work on.
I know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think.
Wait, okay, well, no, I know what, kid.
What is it?
Remember we talked about how you weren't taught it was okay to express yourself and cry? Remember, you're like, you don't cry. You cry on the inside.
Oh, okay. Maybe for me,
Sorry.
For me is maybe be more open. Be more open. I guess like to let them know more about if they wanted to know about my past or wanted to know more about like I guess my deepest fears or things like to be more emotionally available. Yeah. So for me, I guess that's one thing I will. Because for me, like it's very hard for me to be emotional available to anyone. Even my guy friends, like you know, I'm not even emotionally available to them.
Well, because I mean, like, what does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what does that mean? You know, like us, for women, we know how to wear our hearts on our sleeve, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, it was acceptable, right, for us to express. This makes me sad. This makes me mad. This makes me, you know what I mean? Like for you, it's like,
yeah,
just go.
Yeah, for I guess to be able to communicate myself emotionally to a girl, like tell them how I really feel, especially if I'm going through something. Like for me, I'm used to just doing things on my own. If I'm upset or something, I won't show it. I'm just dealing with my own. So yeah, I think that's something I probably
like allowing a woman to help you to process things.
Yeah, allowing her, and then yeah. So
that's a good one.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't wanna be single forever. So and that was my main focus is like nothing wrong being single, you know. It's just when people say like I want to be single forever and say that they'll be happy single forever, I just don't believe that's true. That people
for the majority,
for majority.
I mean, there's the small percentage of people, but like I like I said, I have friends who've been single 20 plus years and they're in their 60s. They desire to be in love.
That's they're still looking for relationships, right?
Yeah, they're not against it.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like
they just haven't found anyone, but they're not against it.
I know. Yeah, I know. Older people today, like in their 50s, in their 60s, they're still trying to date. They're still trying to find a relationship, and because that's how we are. We're human.
I mean, they're happy people and they're grateful, but they're not against it too, though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like there are these people out there pushing this narrative out there that you can be single and happy forever.
Yeah,
and I don't believe that.
I think you're just talking to the people like, hey, dig deep, really ask yourself, reflect. Like, is that the truth or is it not the truth? You know what I mean? And if it isn't, then hey.
But that's the
process, guys. Process the pain, process the trauma, whatever's, and free yourself up and be open.
Yeah, but that's their that's their excuse. The old people use.
Oh yeah, I did the cop all that.
Yeah, I don't know, buddy. I'm happy being single forever.
It's easier to raise kainoa. Yeah, I've been doing that for like the last 5-6 years. But hey, why not have a partner and we have fun in raising kainoa together?
Yeah, but it does require like you going out there again, you know, taking that faith, opening yourself up to a man again.
Opening your heart is like.
but nobody wants to do that, and it's hard, and for me,
but it's worth it. It's so worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it. I mean, I respect and I respect and adore my family members who are married and in committed relationships, and they go through their highs and lows together, but they're so committed to each other and they laugh about it too. You know, like nobody has a perfect relationship. But when you're with someone who's respectable and wants to see you win, and it's a team effort, it's beautiful and it's worth it.
I know. That's why a lot of the women are mad. I hit a nerve.
You guys, he's not
in a nerve.
Like it was a 1 minute clip, maybe a 2 minute clip, and that's not all of him. Like you cannot judge someone based on a 2 minute clip of them. You have to give them the chance to express and understand them. Like I say things that people don't agree with, but doesn't mean that defines me for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And who I am today in my 40s is going to be different like next year, like when I'm in my 50s and 60s and stuff. So I just want to be happy. I've been through so much stuff. You know, my sister passed away when she was 23 in 2001. And I just want to be at peace and happy and encourage people to be happy. And it's okay to be not happy and, you know, but process your pain. And if you can on your own and you feel hopeless, get people to help you. And that's why I have my podcast and he has his podcast.
Nice.
to
Thank you.
help people to revisit and to go deep and to come out breathing and be able to enjoy life.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to share this with everybody so they can see. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I just wanted that. Yeah, because that's for me. I truly want everybody to find a relationship. I want people to be happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to go against this narrative of this movement that's going nowadays.
Yeah.
People are saying that you can be happy forever without relying on depending on somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm more concerned of the younger generation because they're gonna follow these people's advice or their lifestyles and realize that it's a lonely path. That I feel like if people are active, you have the time, especially if you're young, you're watching this right now, take the time to start working yourself and attracting the right partner.
Yeah.
You
Process.
Yeah, you don't have to go to the same.
You don't have to repeat your parents. You don't have to follow your aunties, uncles, or people above you. You can create your own path and open your heart to being in a relationship. And you're allowed to make mistakes along the way.
Yeah, you can make mistakes, but it is possible for you to find one person and it works out. It is possible.
It is. My grandparents.
Yeah, exactly.
They met when my grandma was 19 and they had 7 kids and 40 plus grandchildren. And I love them with every breath that I take. And so it's possible.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but that's it for me. That's it for me today.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah. Any last words? Everybody out there that's watching
No, I just want you guys to know that you're enough and that your heart can always be more open to love for yourself and love for someone else. Don't shut yourself up from the opportunities to love again.